afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming to this press conference. We're going to talk a little bit about the amended budget process. You know, as we know in Alaska, you submit a budget on December 15th. You have an opportunity to do an amended budget as well, and supplemental budget. But we're going to talk a little bit about the amended budget process today. We've got a couple items that we'll be submitting, and once we talk about that, we'll open up for questions. So, as we know, the revenue picture changes based upon oil. Right now, it's not as high as it was last year, but it's still in fairly good shape when you look at the history of oil prices in Alaska. So we want to talk about, we're going to be talking about things today, for example, Office of Public Advocacy, OPA, and Public Defender agencies that we've amended the budget for about $8.3 million across 2 fiscal years to deal with some of the issues and shortages, and we'll have folks talk to that here in detail in just a moment. With the Department of Health and the Division of Public Assistance, we're also amending the budget for $9 million in the operating budget to increase capacity for eligibility determinations, and additionally $54 million is included in the capital budget to fully finish the migration of outdated systems that we've been dealing with for decades. That will help with the processes in that department and division. We'll have a conversation about the Alaska Marine Highway System and additional monies that may be coming from the feds and how we'll deal with that here in the state. And then some other amendments that to take note of would be $7.5 million for Department of Public Safety patrol vessel replacement, $10 million, $5 million for each for the Alaska Seafood Marketing Institute, ASME, and Alaska Travel Association, ATIA. $7.5 million for the Alaska Energy Authority on renewable grants. And then there's other monies as well. So what we'd like to start out with is we'd like to have Commissioner Anderson come up and talk a little bit about the ferry system, where we are with the ferry system, and where some of this money is coming from in terms of the feds and how we're going to deal with that. So, Commissioner, if you can come up and highlight some of the budgetary items, funding items on the ferries. Oh, there you are.
Thanks, Governor. Yeah, thank you, Governor. And Ryan Anderson, the Commissioner of the Alaska Department of Transportation and Public Facilities. Back in January, the state of Alaska was awarded $285.6 million in federal discretionary grants from the Federal Transit Administration to support the Marine Highway System. Our team competed nationally for the grants, and we won. We were awarded 6 individual grants requiring varying levels of state match. Of the $285 million, $44 million was awarded to fund the operation of the ferries and to provide service that will be applied to the 2023 budget, and the match for these operating funds is accounted for in our existing operating budget as the way the federal grant rules work. $68.4 million contributes to the replacement of the MV Tustumena. The department will use existing match that was appropriated for this vessel replacement back in 2018, and those are funds from the AMHS Vessel Replacement Fund. $8.6 million would fund the design and plans for a future replacement vessel. Some say to replace the Matanuska, the MV Matanuska. The department will use existing, $2.1 million from the Vessel Replacement Fund is being requested from the legislature to match that $8.6 million federal grant. The remaining $163.7 million would fund an electric ferry, upgrade our dock infrastructure, and modernize our existing vessels. These grants would require $40.9 million of matching funds. And to meet this requirement, the state is proposing to use an innovative federal aid highway tool that allows the state to use existing federal dollars to capture these new federal dollars. The tool by which the state is allowed to do this is called toll match credits. Toll match credits allow certain toll revenues that were reinvested into maintenance and improvement of a toll facility to be applied towards the state matching funds requirement of certain projects. And because the Alaska Marine Highway System is classified as a toll facility, and because the state has reinvested system revenues through the annual overhaul and capital investments, a significant amount of toll credits can be claimed. So in other words, this tool allows the state to use other federal funds in lieu of state funds as match on the $163.7 million of federal funding for the electric ferry and the upgrade of dock infrastructure and dock modernizations. and vessel modernizations, excuse me. So these existing federal funds are proposed to come from the annual ferry boat formula program provided by the Federal Highway Administration. And by leveraging the toll match credits, the state will be able to capture a significant increase in federal funding for capital improvements on the Alaska Marine Highway. So our proposal is that $40.9 million of toll credits will be claimed to use the ferry boat funds as matching funds for these grants, and these match funds are being requested from the legislature as federal funds. Also with this budget amendment, you will see the projects that are going forward as proposed for our highways and aviation system, and you'll continue to see the state's investment in safety, state of good repair and fixing our infrastructure, economic vitality, resiliency, and sustainability. Some of the projects you'll see continuing on those important safety corridors like Knik Goose Bay Road, Wasilla Fishhook Road, Sterling Highway. We're working on some of the Alaska highway bridges that haven't been upgraded since the World War II era, and as well as a new waysides program where we're going to work to improve our waysides throughout Alaska, both on the operating and the capital investment side. So with that, I will hand it back to the governor. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Commissioner. So next is we're going to be talking about OPA and PDA funding. We know that there's been issues, especially out in rural Alaska, regarding this funding, and so these amendments will take care of hopefully take care of some of that issue and take pressure off of the system. We understand and we know that there have been backlogs in some of the court cases as a result, stemming all the way back from COVID, when some of these trials were suspended. And then, of course, we've got some personnel and vacancy issues, and just the load itself necessitates additional funding to pick up folks in the advocacy office and public advocacy office and defender agency in order for us to take care of this issue. And so what I'd like to do is first kick this over to James Stinson with the Office of Public Advocacy, and then following James, Sam Shiro, who's online with the Public Defenders Agency, will also comment on this issue as well as the funding that's going into this amended budget. So James, if you can come up, appreciate it.
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is James Stinson. I'm the Director of the Office of Public Advocacy. There's a saying that everyone has a plan until they get hit, and I think, as everyone's aware, PDA and OPA have been taking some hits. We're by no means the only agencies that have been taking hits. Thankfully, however, we live in a state that has a responsive legislature and a responsive governor. I'm very grateful for this funding. What will this increase do? Well, what this will do effectively is allow us to increase the rate that we pay to independent contractors by approximately 20%. That's been a long-running issue for OPA, is attracting private defense attorneys willing to take on these difficult cases for the rate of pay that we offer. This is a solution to that issue. I think that this will go a long way in helping address the case backlog. This will go a long way in finding representation for conflict cases that have multiple layers of conflict that are very difficult to place in-house at the Office of Public Advocacy. I'm not going to say that this is a silver bullet. There's always going to be challenges with staffing and other things, but this is a pathway forward. It's very easy to focus on all of the problems. It's nice to have a solution at hand. So I will just say that, overall, we live in an amazing state, and I think it's in everyone's interest to have a functioning criminal justice system. So I just want to express gratitude on behalf of lawmakers as well as the governor for this additional funding.
Thanks, James. Sam, if you can say a few words and add to the issue with regard to the funding in this amended budget and the issues you've dealt with up there, out in Alaska with regard to the Public Defender's Office.
Yes, thank you, Governor Dunleavy, and good afternoon, everyone. Alaska has long had one of the most robust public defender systems in the country, and I thank the governor and his administration for this tremendous support. The decision to decline new appointments in unclassified and A felony cases in Nome and Bethel is a very difficult one, and due to immediate shortages in staffing, especially for an organization that is full of attorneys and staff committed to public service and to defending the constitutional rights of Alaska. But with the support of the governor and the legislature, the agency can create solutions to long-term staffing shortages. We hope the current position we're in is very temporary and short-term, as we really are just 2 to 3 experienced attorneys away from being able to accept these appointments in the most serious cases in Nome and Bethel. And similar to Mr. Stinson's comments, I think these funds are critical to being able to offer more competitive pay to private attorneys to hopefully take some of these cases in the interim to provide some relief for our already overburdened attorneys. So with that, I just thank the governor and the legislature for this support. Thank you.
Thank you. And just a few other things that we're going to be investing in as well is we're going to be increasing our Medicaid rates with a state match. We're also seeking significant resources to address the SNAP backlog. We have funding for over 100 positions to clear the backlog and prepare for Medicaid recertifications, complete the IT modernization of the system as it impacts the SNAP program, funding for an additional 10 VPSO positions as part of the ongoing public safety priorities that we have. We're now at 68 VPSOs compared to 45 in 2018. Also increasing resources to AEA, the Alaska Energy Authority, to build out our energy projects, especially in rural Alaska. As mentioned, we're going to fund our seafood and tourism marketing approaches with 2 organizations in order to increase products and services, purchased from Alaska in terms of seafood and marketing our tourism up here in Alaska. And we're also asking for funds for fire suppression, because obviously we have fires in our forest just about every summer. And right now, I think that's it. We'll open up for questions and he'll answer them.
All right, first we have Claire Strempel from KTOO.
Thank you. I have a question about the 100 positions to help clear the backlog with SNAP. It looks from the funding notes that those are temporary and contractual positions, but state workers and their union have said that chronic understaffing is an issue. Why are none of those positions permanent, or am I mistaken?
Do you want to say a few words, Heidi? Acting Commissioner Hedberg will address that. Thank you.
Hi, Claire. So Heidi Hedberg, Commissioner for the Department of Health. So right now it's all hands on deck. And I think that we've talked several times about what caused the backlog issues, which is really our legacy IT systems. And so we're incredibly thankful for the $54 million that's in the capital budget that will deal with our systemic issues. Again, we need to get off of the mainframe and move those SNAP program and the Medicaid program off of the eligibility information system into Aries. So I think that's a big focus area. We know with the modernization of our IT systems and with the additional support with our temporary staff, we're going to always continue to reevaluate, but we believe that our permanent positions are sufficient. So really there's an arc of effort right now, again, to address the backlog and put us into a position so that we can work on the redetermination for Medicaid eligibility that will start on April 1st.
All right, next we have Becky Bower from the Associated Press.
Hi, I think my question is for Ms. Giroux. As of Monday, has the Public Defender Agency been declining those cases? And did I understand you correctly to say that that situation would continue until such time the funding is approved by the legislature, the funding proposed by the governor?
Thank you for the question, Sam Giroux. Again, we hope that this reality is very short term. We have not had a new appointment at this level, an unclassified or A felony case yet as of Monday in Bethel or Nome. They will surely come. And at that point, I anticipate we'll need to brief the issue and it will be for the court to decide.
All right, next we have Mark Sabatini with the Juneau Empire. Oh, no question. Next we have James Brooks with the Alaska Beacon. And I'll just reach across the table.
Not sure who this will be going to, but the amount for Public Defender Agency and OPA, do you feel that's enough to avoid any constitutional concerns? And if so, why?
Well, I mean, we hope it is, and if there's issues that arise from a question of more resources, we'll address that. But that's the plan. We believe that the resources we're putting forth in this amended budget will take care of that issue.
And why? Why do you believe that?
Why do I believe that there won't, that this, we'll never know what, when a lawsuit is coming or why a lawsuit's coming, but just in talking with the folks that work in those areas, that these resources that we're providing should take care of the issue. But we will never know, James, if there's going to be a lawsuit until it's filed, but we think it should address it.
And then we have Sean McGuire from the Alaska Beacon. Oh, I'm sorry, Anchorage Daily News.
Did you move?
Not recently. Governor, the budget now contains a $400 million deficit. The permanent fund dividend that you proposed in December is unchanged at $3,900 per person at a cost of $2.5 billion. How do you propose that the legislature should close that deficit?
Well, we're hoping that the legislature moves quickly on our carbon enabling bill so we can see what the interest is worldwide. We understand that even if the bill is passed and the interest is shown, it'll probably take a year to 2 years to really see that funding coming in, that new revenue stream. We do have money in the CBR to be able to take care of some of these issues. But in the end, when the budget comes back to me, it's probably going to look very different than what we see now as a result of amendments. I'll have to make some decisions then for the state of Alaska. So as you know how the budget process works, we introduce it, goes through the deliberation process. There's a final budget that comes my way. If it looks like there are some items that need to be vetoed, we'll exercise that prerogative if we need to. And then the legislature has a final look at it if they wish to override any vetoes. So it's hard to tell what this budget's going to look like in the end game. But we believe that what we've presented can be covered right now with existing revenues in the CBR. We get the carbon stuff going. We believe that that new revenue stream can address a number of issues going forward. So right now that's the plan.
Okay, we'll move to our online reporters. Up first, we have Iris Samuels, Anchorage Daily News.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. This question is probably for the governor, and Mr. Rowe indicated that the question of what happens in Nome and Bethel if there is a felony case that the agency can't take on will be up to the courts. I'm wondering if your administration, Governor, has considered sort of a solution that's more immediate to this problem to make sure that the state can meet its constitutional obligation to offer legal representation to anyone who needs it.
Well, we think this approach that we're taking now with the funding, we want to move as quickly as possible on it, and hopefully that happens. We're in conversations with the system as well as our Attorney General's office. If there's other ideas that can help expedite this, we'll look at that. As long as it's in line with the Constitution and making sure that we're meeting our constitutional obligations. So this is going to be an ongoing discussion to see to what degree this works and how quickly, and if there's anything else that we need to do to address this.
Can I fit in a quick follow-up question?
Quick follow-up.
Just in terms of having an immediate solution, I'm wondering if it was considered putting something in the supplemental budget just to make sure that the problem is addressed as quickly as possible rather than waiting until July, the beginning of the next fiscal year.
Those discussions, once again, I'm sure they're going to be taking place, but we think this approach is the approach that it can work for us at this point. But again, these discussions are ongoing, and if we need to shift things around for an immediate approach, we may end up doing that. But for right now, this is the approach that we're taking.
Next, we have Ian Stewart with Your Alaska Link. He might not be on. Next, we'll go to Jazz.
I'm actually on for him.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Go ahead.
Governor, I was wondering if you could talk about the decision yesterday to remove the 4-year degree requirements for most state jobs. How big of a crisis point is the state looking at in trying to address that issue? And, what efforts can you do to perhaps inspire businesses across the state to follow suit?
Well, private industry is going to have to make their own decisions, and private industry as well as our government and across the country, state governments and industries, nonprofits, they're all facing the same issue. It's a different world post-COVID, and the labor shortage is real, obviously. We've got vacancy rates, and we've got jobs that are open. So we've addressed some of this through increased funding for salaries. We believe that this approach that we're taking here, that we sent out the administrative order yesterday, is going to open up hopefully a larger field of potential applicants, a larger pool. Other states are doing this. Businesses are becoming creative in their own way, and so we'll see how this works. But we think it's going to be helpful for state government, and we know that businesses are taking many different approaches to deal with this as well. And so we're going to continue to look at what type of labor pools are untapped, and then we'll continue to have the discussion if there's other ways that we can make sure that we have operational integrity in the state of Alaska with regard to our divisions, departments, and programs.
Thank you. Next, we have Jazz from KINY. Are you guys on? Okay, well, we're going to move to Jack Barnwell if he's online.
Yes. Governor, can you speak to a bill that you recently introduced, HB 74? How do you think this will benefit the state?
Sorry, can you repeat that just one more time?
HB 74, geothermal resources. How do you think this would benefit the state?
Well, it's a tremendous resource. It's a renewable resource, and we're fortunate that the resources are, in some cases like Cook Inlet, very close to large populated areas. You have resources all the way out the Alaska Peninsula and Aleutian Chain as well. So we're hoping that this is going to attract investment, and we know there are investors looking at the state of Alaska's potential for geothermal energy. And so our goal, as you know, is to lower the cost of energy for in-state for Alaskans as low as we possibly can, so we can make sure the lights turn on, we can attract investment, create jobs, wealth, et cetera. So this is one approach to our energy portfolios, geothermal. We have wind, we have solar, we have oil, we have gas, we have coal, and potential, like I said, nuclear and other. We're an all-in state when it comes to trying to get as much energy in the state as possible. So we just think that there are outfits that are going to want to tap into our vast geothermal resources, and we're in discussions with some of those folks.
Our last question is a reporter in the room, Mark Sabatini, Juneau Empire.
Thanks. I think this is going to be a question for Commissioner Anderson. It has to do with the federal toll credits. I'm wondering, is this something the state has ever done before for any DOT purpose? If not, why not? And if it hasn't been done before, what motivated it now?
Sir, thank you for the question. Ryan Anderson with Commissioner DOT. No, we don't believe that toll credits have been utilized as an innovative finance tool in the past, and so this is the first one, the first time. With the rural ferry program and the opportunities that are coming at us in the future as well as now, with the 5-year emphasis on that program, we're real hopeful that we'll have more opportunities for ferry improvements as the program progresses. And this toll credit match, it's really a program that the Fed Highway Administration incentivizes states to take the earnings, the revenues that they received through tolls on things like the Marine Highway System. This could also be used on highway systems in the lower 48, and invest those back into the system, and they provide this credit. So to us, it's a real advantageous a way to move forward. And so we're looking at new ways and all sorts of different opportunities for innovative financing tools to improve our infrastructure. Did the federal government give you permission to do that? Have they approved that? So we're in the progress. We've been talking to the Federal Highways Administration, and we're going through that whole piece of it. And all of the conversations this is a tool available to states, and other states are doing it. So yeah.
All right, thank you. That's the last for our questions today.
Yeah, and that's it's kind of we're going to wrap this up here. But again, these are amendments we think will help Alaska. They're needed, and we look forward to discussions with the legislature on this. As we mentioned, budgets will morph throughout the next several weeks, and there'll be continual discussion on revenue pieces as well as containing spending limits, you name it. We hope the carbon bills get a play so we can actually see what the interest is worldwide. The information that we get is because of our scale in Alaska that we could be one of the largest components of a carbon credit process in the entire world. And I think this revenue piece that's been untapped, I think, will really help Alaska with a revenue stream for some time to come. How big that will be, and that'll be determined by the negotiations and the discussions. But the sooner we act on it, the sooner we'll know. We're going to continue to work on our energy front, as was mentioned, geothermal, nuclear, wind, offshore wind, onshore wind, solar, you name it. We are looking at everything and anything to lower the cost of energy. It's our goal to try and get energy, especially on the rail belt, and really in rural Alaska, down as far as we possibly can in terms of whether it's 10 cents a kilowatt hour on the rail belt and whether it's cut in half, if not more, out in rural Alaska. We're going to do everything we can to reduce that, as well as looking at food security, looking at growing more food here in the state of Alaska, processing it, et cetera. So there's a lot going on. We'll continue with the press conferences. Right now, we're having great discussions with the legislature, both in the House and the Senate, as well as the majorities and the minorities in both bodies. And so we are anticipating, I think, getting hopefully a lot of things done here in the next several weeks. And I think it bodes well for Alaska. So we'll be back. Thank you.